Good morning, everyone. I am so grateful that you chose to spend your early morning with me, and I trust that I'm going to share some ideas and some thoughts that I'm hoping will inspire all of you to join what I'm calling the Get on the Bus campaign, and that'll make sense to you in just a moment. I first want to thank Nancy, honestly, from the bottom of my heart. Yes, I've experienced success in the healthcare management consulting firm over the last 10 years. But honestly, it just, when you have a new vision that you're birthing, and you come to a person and they connect heart to heart with that vision, there's nothing like it. So I just want to thank you, Nancy, because you've inspired me to continue moving in this direction. I also want to thank Cheryl Tan, who was also part of the early discussions when it was just a thought, and I have to tell you, it has evolved along the way. And so you're hearing today the culmination of probably a year of thinking, a year of dreaming, and a year of finding my center, which is understanding where I started, seeing where I am today, but really reflecting on the process to get there, and that is Envision Lead Grow. I also want to thank ODU. I was honored last night, and it was quite an honor to be among the other honorees, and also to witness the birth of Hidden Figures. So outstanding event last night. So I was with ODU last night. With ODU this morning, I think that's the beginning of great things, would you say? All right, so Envision Lead Grow. Let's start with some fundamentals. Poverty is a problem. It is a problem nationally, it's a problem internationally. It affects 1 in 7 adults, 1 in 5 children live in poverty. Sometimes some of us are so removed from that we don't even think about poverty still exists. Down the street is like a third world country. But it exists, and it is a problem. It drives crime rates. It drives our future for our next generation. I want to start by telling you a little story that speaks to a little bit of the poverty. This is a little girl. I think she's an adorable little girl. When I look at this little girl, what I see is that she's looking back for confidence. She's looking back for who's there, who has faith in me, who's looking after me. But then there's a door, and that door represents for me a potential barrier. Let me tell you a little bit about this girl. This young girl was born to a 17-year-old mother, to a grandmother who had 10 children. The 10 children at the time of the 10th child, all of them through the same father. The father was in and out, though. And this was in the late 60s. This was in a Section 8 housing community, if those who are from Norfolk, Virginia, Liberty Park, which is no longer there. And this young lady's mother decided, I'm going to still continue to pursue my dreams. She was already, after all, at an Ivy League university, University of Pennsylvania. And so she continued to move forward with that track while this young lady was raised in her early years by her grandmother. It was the support of the community, the support of extended family. Before she could establish confidence, these people said, you can and you will. You know how? Because we're going to make sure you do. We're going to stand in the gap in that community. That mother graduated from University of Pennsylvania, went on to law school, and came back to the Norfolk, Virginia area as a success story as she became an executive or manager or leader at AT&T. This young lady continued to grow. She broke the cycle. She graduated from school in Virginia Beach, almost on the waterfront. Back then, that was unheard of. Cox High School, went on to James Madison University, And today, this young lady stands before you as an executive of a healthcare management and technology company that is doing phenomenal work. I say that to say, Envision Lead Grow isn't just like something that just seems interesting. It is my story. I know it to the core. You do not have to be your current circumstance. You can rise above. This story continues because this young lady, who is an entrepreneur, back 20 years, became a mother. This mother raised a daughter who's now 20 years old at the UNC Chapel Hill, who is also an entrepreneur, as she, at 15, wrote a book, The Magic of Friendship. She was on all of the news channels, etc., 251 pages of writing, because she took what was a frustrating time in her life, middle school, trying to figure out, why don't I fit in? Why do they treat me like I'm different? And she took all of that and poured her heart and soul into this book. So at the age of 15, 16, and 17, guess what she was doing? Book tours. And she was going out to camps and talking to youth about leadership. This young lady now is doing very well in the business school at University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. And she is my partner in Envision Lead Grow. This is going to be her baby once she graduates. So the vision continues and a new story begins. And the cycle continues and the cycle continues. And so that's my vision for Envision Lead Grow, that oftentimes in the at-risk, underserved communities, you are what you see. And so we all, I believe, even as adults, the shiny object is what attracts our attention. So if the shiniest object you see as a young girl in middle school is that cool dude that comes up to you and he's buying you clothes and he's buying you jewelry and he has the Mercedes and you're thinking, that's my way out and that's the shiny object. I want Envision Lead Grow to be that shiny object in these communities, because if those girls can see, you're me, you were me back then, and this is what you've become, then I believe that I can be the shiny object that keeps them going to say, I can do it too. I recognize the age gap. That's why I know I need a partner who's closer to them, because she will be the shinier object. I might be a little rusty for them. So I'd like to just for a moment, she was here and had to go back to school as of 2 days ago. So she can't be here in person, but I wanted you all to meet the shiny object, who is my partner in Envision Lead Grow, Angela Reddix. So she's with us virtually. So Nissa, if you could just introduce yourself, we're gonna toggle back to the video.
Hi everybody, my name is Miss Reddix, and like my mother so gracefully said, I am her partner in Envision Lead Grow. I am so excited that you all are here this morning. And I really wish that I could be there, but classes, I have to finish this degree thing before I can really dive into Envision Lead Grow. So I am really excited for this summer, for the bus tour. I can't wait for you all to hear about the details and all the exciting things that we put together. We actually just finished yesterday choosing the other members of the bus team. So we have the girls that will be on the bus with me, leading it and coordinating with the different cities, contacting different universities, all that kind of stuff that we've been working on. And it's all just really, really exciting, and I'm grateful to be a part of it all, and I'm glad you all can be a part of it too.
All right. Thank you, Nissa. I will also say Nissa is the first of 3, so I never want to not speak of the other 2. They don't like that too much. There's just a significant age difference, so they can't be the partner yet, but trust me, they will be. We have Aman, who is now 12, and Ayla, who's now 10. So they're babies and kind of watching Anissa, and they do everything that she does. So again, I know about shiny objects. All right, entrepreneurship, I believe, is the key. Entrepreneurship allows an individual to take their passion and turn it into their purpose, and also into profit, assuming you understand the magic of business. So entrepreneurship can assist these young girls in moving them out of poverty. Entrepreneurs correspond with the poverty rate going down or decreasing in a city. So I believe this is important not only for the girls, but it's important for those cities who are at an economic level and their income levels are below the poverty level. So the concept that I'm working with, as Nancy mentioned, I'm in the dissertation phase of my PhD. And so I've been studying theory behind entrepreneurship. And two theories that I am basing everything that we're designing for this program on. One is Erickson's theory, and it's the theory of deliberate practice. When you exert effort above the normal range, you become an expert in your performance. Anyone read the book, The Outliers? Okay, The Outliers is based on this model. 10,000 hours of practice gets you to a higher level of performance. So that's the foundation of the theory. Barron then created a theory, and he's used this concept, his model, in several different areas. One is entrepreneurship. And so if there is deliberate practice, that could be either through vicarious learning, by being taught, or experiential learning, by actually having the opportunity to practice, that can increase the success rate of a business. It's also moderated, or it also can impact or influence cognitive resources. So the ability to remember, the ability to have instinct or intuition is increased the more you have deliberate practice. So the model that I am building my study on is taking that concept and applying it to a particular population, and that would be young ladies in middle school in underserved communities. I believe, if we provide these opportunities to have vicarious learning and have experience, that we can influence success rate of businesses in the underserved communities and also increase the intuition and the instinct for these young girls. So that's the theory. I'm not going to bore you today with my whole dissertation. I just wanted to share with you that, again, none of this is based on just an idea. It's based on a lot of studying, and it's also based on the practice of my life and the business that I've been able to build. So the goal is Envision Lead Grow is on a mission to increase the rate of entrepreneurship in teen girls. How will we do this? One program, 7 cities in 2017, 1,000 new girl bosses. That is our mission. Our mission is to touch 1,000 girls this summer. Imagine if 1,000 girls the first year, another 1,000 girls the next year, another 1,000 girls the next year. This becomes a phenomenon. So this is a 4-tier approach. Our target is middle school girls. There's 4 layers because the whole concept of vicarious learning and experiential learning is a layered approach. You're not going to get it overnight. So we have to stay constant in their lives. So step 1, target 1 is entrepreneurship. It's a 1-week immersion program. The second is ongoing weekly mentorship and peer groups. The third is monthly support group webinar sessions. And then the fourth is a fellows program that will take place in Washington, D.C. So let's talk about tier number 1. Anissa alluded to this, and this is what the Get on the Bus campaign is all about. We are going to take the 1-week program that we actually piloted last summer at Kempsville Entrepreneurship Academy, and we're going to take that program, which we've modified, and move it to each of the cities that we've identified that have the greatest number of individuals living below the poverty level. For now, we are focusing on the East Coast through Memphis, Tennessee. The second component that we base these locations on would be the highest number of adults 25 and older without a bachelor's degree. Education is oftentimes an indicator of your ability to move out of poverty. So at the age of 25, if you're in poverty and you don't have a degree, the likelihood that you're moving out of that it's very difficult to do that. So those were the two indicators that we used to identify the locations. So we are going to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Baltimore, Maryland, Richmond, Virginia, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia, and Memphis, Tennessee. Norfolk, Virginia didn't fall in that demographic per se, but it is hometown, so of course we have to do Norfolk, Virginia. All right, so here's our plan. 125 middle school girls per city to get us to that grand total. 5 college camp leaders. Anissa mentioned that we've interviewed and we have created an internship program. It's a paid internship program that we will have 5 camp leaders who are responsible for specific parts of managing the program. So they're more the managers. 20 high school camp counselors. This could be high school, it could be college, but these are the young ladies who will be in that city and they will be running the actual camp. 7 university partners. We have about 50% of them secured so far, but each of the camps will be held on university campuses. 5 days, 8 modules. The 8 modules are the 8 C's of success that I've documented from my 10 years of running Reddix. It starts with having a passion, and then it ends with celebrating the milestones. And so we'll go through each of those 8 modules throughout those 5 days. At the end of the program, the girls will do a passion pitch. One of the things that I think is fundamental about being a successful entrepreneur, you know, one of the things about being an entrepreneur, yes, it's exciting. You think you're really your own boss. I always tell people, there's some bosses like the IRS, some bosses like, you know, your customer, some bosses like your employees or associates. So truly, the real story is, you are not the boss of you. There are many things that you have to be in compliance with. However, it is nice to be able to have a vision and see it come to fruition. The challenging times are when you're trying to figure out how you're going to make payroll. That has not been my story, but that's many entrepreneurs' story. How are you going to keep the lights on? And so it is passion that when you're running up against those obstacles, it's passion that gets you through. If you are in business to make money, it's not going to work, because that's not enough to be passionate about when the money isn't coming in. It's great when the money's coming in, but when it's not, if you are not true to what your vision is and operating in your space and not a space someone else thought you should operate in, it's very challenging to stay the course. And so for us, it's not about just building a business plan, it is about building a passion plan. So on that 5th day, they make a presentation to judges about their passion and their steps they're going to take to reach their goals. And then there's an award for $500 to the person with the best passion pitch. So all of that equals one incredible experience. A lot of numbers there, but the bottom line is it's a program that allows the individuals to be exposed. Yes, they're trained, so they have the vicarious learning, but they also have the opportunity to experience entrepreneurship in that 1 week. The second, ongoing weekly mentorship and peer groups. The focus is plan the strategy and work the plan. So during that 1 week, the girls are going to walk away with their detailed plan. This is going to be a plan for an entire year. We know that they're going to go back into their environments. And so we need to make sure that we have someone in that city that can actually work with the girls 30 minutes a week. It could be over the phone, it could be face-to-face. But work with the girls in order to make sure that they're staying the course, that they're not distracted by the challenges of their world, but they're actually continuing to focus on their future. So we're looking for 20 adults. They have to be 21 years old or older, professional women, hybrid approach, face-to-face or over the phone. The third is monthly support group webinar sessions. And let me go back to 2 for a moment. There's a reason why it's not a one-to-one. Again, these are going to be adult women. And sometimes it seems like I don't want to do what you say because you're an adult woman. We want to use peer pressure in a positive way in this program. So we believe having them in groups of at least 5, when they're having their mentoring sessions, it's going to allow all of them to feed off of each other and encourage each other. And then we find leaders within those 5, and then they are actually encouraged to continue leading. Third, monthly support group webinar sessions. Again, power of positive peer pressure. We are creating a new community for them. So while they'll go home to wherever their community is, they begin to begin engaging with girls who have like minds and like missions. So the 5 girls that have like mind on a weekly basis. But then monthly, the 1,000 new community, new family members, new friends that they have will meet on a monthly webinar where I will actually facilitate, let's talk about the successes. Who's in step 3 of their plan? Talk to us about that. We'll highlight the girls who are doing well, and we'll also talk about the barriers or the challenges so that they can all encourage each other. And step 4, Envision Lead Grow Fellows Program. I believe no risk, no reward. So the reality is this is risky for the girls. Some of them have experienced failure, they've seen failure, and so to step out there and try something new, it is a risk. The reward will come when you actually choose to walk through that door, and the next door, and the next door, and the next door. So this program will take the top 20% of the performers, and they will be invited to an all-expense paid trip to Washington, D.C. Our target, we haven't coordinated this part yet, but our target is a university in Washington, D.C. And so I'm saying my target is Georgetown University. Again, haven't contacted them yet, but that is the vision. That they will actually be exposed, the 20%, that means 200 girls, will have 2.5 days of experience with Fortune 500 executives who understand their world, who came from the environment that would be very similar to theirs and have risen above that. Entrepreneurship doesn't always mean owning your own business. Some of the best associates that I've ever worked with in the company were entrepreneurs. They had the ability to see an idea that supports the company's goals and then helped us get there. And by the way, they're reaching their dreams also. So that's why we want to have Fortune 500 executives to explain how you work through the corporate ladder if that's the choice you choose. And then we'll have entrepreneurs who will speak from their perspective. The bottom line is these 200 girls will have the attention of some pretty powerful women who can then say, you know what, I see something special in you. I'm going to make sure that I help you reach your goals. So that's the ultimate goal in these 4 steps. A little bit about some proof points. As I mentioned, we conducted this as a pilot in Kempsville. So just have a few points here. The girls were led by counselors, similar to what we're going to do here. And at the bottom here, these are 3 of our counselors. This is Anissa in the middle who ran the program. Darcy, who's an ODU student, is here. She was one of the counselors. And then we had Taylor. The girls came in and they were so timid that first day, weren't they, Darcy? What's your name, Kennedy? They had no confidence. I'm just reflecting on them walking down the hall and they were just, I don't know what to expect. These are the programs the sessions, Darcy and the girls were running all the sessions. These are the t-shirts that they had because our goal is helping girls build their futures. Let me tell you, by the 5th day, they were on stage, there were 3 judges, and they were presenting their passion pitches. And I remember day after day, mind you, I'm there Monday and Friday. The girls run it Tuesday through Thursday because I kind of have to run a company. So every day I would get a report out from the counselors, and the girls are trying to figure out, how do I write a plan? What do I have to present? How do I present? That Friday came, and I was able to see the end result of the lessons that they've learned. To hear those girls on stage, to see the logos they created, to see how they'd fully fleshed out their passion. And one of our big pushes with the girls is figure out how you can do very well in the area you want by solving a problem in the community. So doing very good for the community. And just to see the things that they came up with that's helpful for society. So this was the final day after the presentations. This is the young lady who won, Allison, who won the award for the $500, and her presentation was creating meals for individuals living with MS. Why? Because her cousin, she watched her cousin live with MS, and she saw how challenging it was for her to even cook a meal. So she created a business that was providing not only the meals, but also other support, like contractors who would come to the home to do different things to help those individuals. Allison won that particular award. I would say all 20 of those girls were award winners. In fact, one of the young ladies, Kennedy, felt so strongly about what she'd presented at the passion pitch that she presented that to Damon John, Shark Tanks, everyone familiar with him? And she was actually selected to be mentored by Damon John through what she learned in Envision Lead Grow. So I believe the proof is in the pudding, and that these girls will never be the same because of what they've been exposed to. So now we want to take this on the road. So we're asking you to get on the bus. Now, I know you probably don't want to go to each of those cities, and I'm not asking you to literally get on the bus, but we need support. We believe this is a strong, strong concept, and I hope you believe so too. We have to build a platform so that when these girls have these ideas, there's people out there who's listening, and they feel that there's support, whether they will ever see these people's faces or not. We want them to know that there's individuals that are just rooting you on. As I mentioned, as that young girl looking backwards, I was looking for that support because I was still trying to walk. But I knew that there were people in the community, my aunts, my family, that said, not that you can, but you will, because we're supporting you. And so I believe it's only through the community that we're going to close some of the gaps in some of these communities. And so the Get on the Bus campaign, which today is the kickoff, the first time that we're really discussing it in a group form, so thank you for being the first. We need partners. Partners, number one, we have a social media presence, but we need to get the message out so that when these girls need the contact that's going to help them, there's someone out there listening. Once we start this program, we're going to be presenting the young ladies' passion pitches. We need people there to present it to. So we're trying to build our Facebook community because we believe that's where the adults hang out, I'm told, by the youth. It seems that the Instagram, where the girls are and all of that, the numbers are up there because that's for their target. But the people who are going to be in a position to help them aren't necessarily on Instagram. So I'm asking that you join us on Facebook, like us on Facebook, share it on Facebook, so that by the time we start the tour this summer, there's a community built on Facebook that you can then start spreading the word. So number one, that is what we really need, is for people to know Envision Lead Grow exists and why it exists. We need sponsorship for the teams. We were able to get, I just want to first thank Agape Tours, who's here, Jacqueline. I actually met Jacqueline, if you can stand, Jacqueline. I met Jacqueline at a small business event. She has a fleet of buses. She has a brand new luxury bus, and she has given us a rock bottom rate so that we can take this bus on the road. Not only that, Jacqueline has wrapped the bus with Envision Lead Grow. So going from town to town, this is going to be on the highway. Also, we have opportunities for companies to be on the bus. So through these sponsorships, this will be all of the corporations that believe in entrepreneurship and that entrepreneurship can fuel the economy for the future and believe that this program can break the cycle of poverty, crime, teenage pregnancies in the communities at risk. So thank you, Jacqueline, for your support. So all of this, even with the rock bottom price and going from town to town and the stipends for the girls, et cetera, the programs, the food, all that we're going to do, because we're including lunches so that they don't have to worry about that. It's about $125 a girl. We don't want any of these girls to have to pay for anything because we know that they probably won't be able to. So we're looking for groups of 10 to be sponsored. That's 125, that's 1,250. Again, spread the word. Identify an organization to sponsor a city of girls. So perhaps there's an organization that says, I want Richmond. I want my company on that bus, and I'm going to be the Richmond partner. The ask for that is $15,625, simply 125 times 125. We need adult mentors, 20 of them to be exact per city. We need 20 women who are going to start with these girls and end with these girls. So we're looking for organizations that'll say, I'll just get the 20 women who will engage with these girls. Again, the commitment is 30 minutes every week, 5 girls. Now, certainly some will do more, and that's fine. But the purpose is to check in to make sure they're not distracted from their roadmap that they create during the program. And then more than anything else, spread the word. We want to have entrepreneurs in each city engaged. We're going to have an entrepreneur of the day come in and speak at each of the 5 days in each of the cities. So we need individuals who may have contacts in each of those cities. So to remind you of the cities again, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Richmond, Norfolk, Winston-Salem, Memphis, and Atlanta. Hopefully it's clear what we need. The program is pretty much set. We can't do it alone. It wouldn't be as valuable if we did it alone, because the bottom line is if we have 1,000 girls and we don't have 1,000 people out there who are saying, go Mary, then it's not going to be as strong with just Angela Reddix. So that is Envision Lead Grow.